welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into this segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dore would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment. So if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. Any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. My name is Robert Brown with The Rob Report. Let's get into it. All right. Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. The former president of the United States of America. The former president of the United States of America. God help us. Y'all gonna allow this guy to be a thorn in your flesh. Now, I told you before, this man ain't going nowhere. As long as he lives, he's going to be the thorn in the Democratic Party flesh and a thorn in the Republican Party flesh. And I guess that's why some of them don't want to push for him to be convicted, because they need his base. So a lot of you bunch of punks. Bunch of punks. Now, look here. Donald Trump having time in his life. He's out there golfing. He don't really believe that the Senate is going to prosecute him, but he need to really believe that the Senate is going to prosecute him. But he don't believe it. He really truly think he's untouchable. Now, I'm going to do a video later on the week on the Boogaloo Boys and all that kind of stuff. I'm also going to do a video on is there some charges that can actually lead to Trump's jail conviction. We're going to look at that later on today. Not later on today, but later on in the week. And a couple other things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Joe Biden's executive orders. We're going to talk about that on Sunday also. But today, I want to talk about this. Trump's second impeachment after the Capitol riot isn't enough. He needs to go to prison. Political sanction did not deter the president from abusing his powers again, nor should we believe it would deter anyone else. A criminal conviction will. Now, the problem is you got to get a real, true criminal conviction. You had an opportunity to convict him on the emolument clause, but you were too much of a punk to do it because all of you probably violate that same clause. And there's probably plenty of evidence that could be thrown back at you that if he go down, you all can go down. Democrat and Republican have profited from their seats in office. The second impeachment of Donald Trump has concluded, not with a bang, but with a whimper. Whether it results in the Senate conviction or not, impeachment amounts to a feeble punishment for a man who will have left office anyway. See, we've monkeyed up or muddled up the impeachment process, and it started with Bill Clinton. We impeached that guy for lying on oath, and we still let him stay in office. Republicans let him stay in office because they needed some deals and got him. He was not convicted. He did that twice with Trump now. Impeachment doesn't even mean nothing no more now. You can impeach somebody, they can still stay in office. They can still serve. So what's the purpose of impeaching them? Well, he have that on his record, but yeah, he served out his term. This thing, you should have had enough solid, valid evidence to knock him out the box. You didn't have it on the Russian thing, but you had it on other things. Things that could have put his daughter, could have put Jared Kushner in the hot seat. Let me finish. While the forces of decency, democracy, and good government prevail in this impeachment vote, how? The forces of decency and democracy and good government. Is there such thing as a good government? Just because Joe Biden in office, that makes us have a good government now? Get out of here. Never been no such thing as good government. Prevails in this impeachment vote. We should ask what gain this battle has wrought. A Senate debate will distract that body at a time when a new president critically need to confirm his cabinet and approve a funding package to accelerate vaccinations and COVID-19 relief. Impeachment likely persuade nobody. On all things Trumpians, it seems virtually no American appears persuadable. Now here's an article by Sam Liccardo, mayor of San Jose, California. An op-ed. Well, Liccardo, Joe Biden is going to do what Joe Biden's do. It ain't going to stop the impeachment process. The only thing that can stop this conviction is other Republicans. And so far, it looked like he's not going to get a conviction. So far. He should. Got plenty of evidence. Or do we? What is needed, rather, is criminal prosecution. We all know that, Joe. We all know that, man. To deter the next unhinged narcissist from using the presidency to undermine the electoral process, a jury must convict Trump of his crimes. Trump previously suffered impeachment for deploying unlawful means to remain power. Using his office to leverage Ukraine to investigate then Democratic opponent Joe Biden's family. Look, I'm not even going to go there because I've covered Joe Biden and his son before Trump even got in office. I thought that was, to me, that was wrong. I'm not even going to go there. Now, Trump tried to bring up the light to hurt Joe in the election. You know, he had his motive for doing it, but still, just cause Joe won, just cause Trump tried to get Joe on that, and just because Trump got in trouble himself for doing that doesn't mean Hunter Biden didn't need, and Burisma didn't need to be investigated. They did need to be investigated, but thanks to money, it got shut down. And holding up money, it got shut down. There's a lot of truth to that. Trump didn't lie about that. You know, he's just using it for his own gain, which is wrong. That impeachment did not deter Trump from abusing his power again, nor should we believe that this one will deter anyone else a criminal conviction. By imposing a personal and direct punishment upon Trump, criminal prosecution will force future leaders to think twice about threatening that essential precondition of any functional republic, the peaceful transfer of power. It will unequivocally repudiate once and for all the Nixonian doctrine that when the president does it, that means it's not legal. I don't know where that came from. If democracy depends on the consent of the loser, as some have put it, then the loser consent must be mandatory and enforced by a punitive sanction. We cannot satisfy ourselves without the prosecution of the pelt-wearing members of the mob. Prosecuting only the puppets give license to future puppet masters. To be clear, Trump himself committed criminal acts, as suggested by the article impeachment. He violated provisions of the Federal Criminal Code. That makes it a crime to incite, assist, or engage in any rebellion or insurrection against the authorities of the United States or the laws therefore, or give aid to comfort thereto. Insurrection carries a statutory maximum penalty of 10 years in prison and permanently barred from public office. Alternatively, or additionally, prosecutors might consider charges for sedition, conspiracy, incitement of a riot, and violent solicitation. This man started his campaign inciting riots. Somebody just punch him and I'll pay your legal fees. That's what he's been doing since day one. And now y'all want to talk about this? You should have disqualified him from running for office on the first incitement of violence. But no, you and the news was trying to prop him up for ratings or to make somebody else look good if they won. How could a jury conclude that Trump incited this insurrection? Because the events of January 6th were as predictable as they were horrifying. After Trump failed at the polls, in the Electoral College, in 62 separate lawsuits, in 3 separate recounts, on 2 trips to the U.S. Supreme Court, and in 1 menacing phone call to a Georgia Secretary of State, the president urged thousands of patriots to come to Washington to both protest this stolen election and to pressure Congress to disregard the 12th Amendment, which mandate the implementation of the will of the electors. Now, the mayor is right on that. He did all that. Now, again, going to Washington to protest is not wrong, but to actually put yourself in a position where you're going to put fear in the hearts and the mind of those who are out there certifying the election is illegal. Patriots, get out of here. He reportedly attempted to boost the size of the crowd, tweeting or retweeting the invitation 20 times since December 30th, assuring supporters that it was going to be wow. In the hours before the attack, Trump told the crowd that you'll never take back our country with weakness, urging them to fight much harder and to show strength. I mean, honestly speaking, you could say that, I would say that about progressives. I would say that about the ADOS organization, that you can't be weak, you got to be strong. But Trump had more behind what he's saying. It's not necessarily what you say all the time, it's also how you say it. And it's what precedes what you said for the final sentence or the final part of the speech. You can't rile up people with hate, and then turn around and say, now at the end, let's all love one another. You just can't do that. For years, even before, during his run, he'd been churning up his base for years. And that has not stopped the whole time he was in president. So when he come and say something as simple as, you'll never take back our country with weakness, which is not actually saying attack the Capitol. It's just that you can never take back our country being weak. Fight much harder. I mean, you can say that with any organization, but the problem is he's been saying things before that pretty much opposite of that. Now, when you say something that normally would be not considered a statement of charge or storm the Capitol, because you said so many horrible things before that, once you get to that part, it looks exactly like what you said. Remember what I said? Charles Manchin, he churned up his followings about those LeBlanca murders to the point that he didn't have to say, now go out there and kill them. They were already churned up. He could say, just kiss the sky, and they would have thought that mean kill them. He's also urged them to fight much harder and to show strength. His henchman, Rudy Giuliani, urged the crowd, let's have trial by combat. After that astounding Trump declined request. Now, Rudy Giuliani need to be prosecuted because he said out his mouth, let's have trial by combat. Now, when you say let's have trial by combat, what you think that mean? Combat mean combat. It don't mean painting each other with paint, with wine. It doesn't mean pillow fight. After that, externally, Trump declined requests from congressional leaders, aides to quell the mob invading the Capitol during this, which 5 lives were lost until several hours had passed. It was all foreseeable, preventable, and most importantly, orchestrated, in the words of the head of House Republican Conference, Representative Liz Cheney of Wyoming. Trump summoned his mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame of this attack. Now, look, I'm not a fan of Liz Cheney. That's Dick Cheney's daughter. And believe me, she wants to be the leader of the Republican Party anyway. And she's going to stand in that position where she can. Now, I'm not going to keep reading this article. It's pretty long. But the bottom line is this. This guy right here has always been a megalomaniac. He's always been a narcissist. And the woman he ran against was a narcissist too. Now, she would have been a little more slicker on how she do her stuff, but she's a narcissist too. But clearly, if you actually pulled the lever for this guy, I don't understand you. This guy has been robbing people in New York left and right. Don't get me wrong. He's donated to black charities and things like that. But remember what I said, when you donate, it's for tax write-offs. People donate don't mean they really care. They just don't want to get hit with that tax pain. But this guy's been robbing business owners. He's been robbing contractors. He's been robbing people. He's been kicking people. He's been pretty racist toward his who gets to live in his buildings or not. This guy's always been like that. And just because he was on TV, Celebrity Apprentice, and on Home Alone and all that, didn't take away the fact that this guy was a bigot and a racist. Yeah, he hung out with Snoop Dogg. You know, Snoop Dogg did a roast with him. He hung out with Michael Jackson. Look, Trump liked rich black people. What that got to do with regular black people? And don't let me get on started on his first opponent, Hillary Clinton, because I got a lot to say about her. But she wasn't this guy. This guy just flat out lied to you. At least Hillary Clinton told you she wasn't going to do nothing. I ain't giving you $15 an hour. I'm going to give you $12 an hour. At least she told you what she believed. This guy lied. I'm going to get you health care. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be the greatest health care. It's going to be beautiful. We got to take our country back. We're going to bring jobs back here to America. We're going to stop sending our jobs over. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. Yet at the same time, churn up this base. Back in the old days, we wouldn't have took this mess. We would have knocked that guy out. If somebody knock him out, I'll pay your legal bills. All this stuff churn up. You got to fight. The radical left, the communists, the radical left, socialists, they're going to steal our country, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff led up to this. And you don't think he need to be prosecuted? This guy need to be prosecuted. He don't need to run office ever again. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other people besides him need to go through the same cleansing process. You need to really, truly drain the freaking swamp. Because you got Democrat swamp creatures and Republican swamp creatures. He just happened to be the king. You drained the swamp and found your whole cabinet there, Trump. Your whole cabinet there. Look at this. Just 5 GOP senators voted for Trump impeachment trial is constitutional. The Senate sent a strong signal Tuesday that there are not nearly enough votes to convict President Trump in an impeachment trial, when only 5 GOP senators reject an effort by Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky to declare the looming trial unconstitutional. So they're trying to say this trial is unconstitutional. The Senate voted 55-45 to set aside Paul's motion, with all but 5 GOP senators siding with Paul. So majority of the senators sided with Paul. I'm telling you right now, if Joe Biden and political leaders on the left don't start whipping up votes, Trump is going to end up he's not going to be convicted. He's going to end up running in 2024 again. And if he's going to be running against Kamala Harris, he'll win, because she just don't have what it takes. She don't have a base. She don't. There's a lot of black people don't mess with her. And you could throw Trump in their face, they're still not going to mess with her. They're going to say, screw both of you. You harm my people in California. Trump ain't harm my people to that extent yet. He will. He can and will, but you already done it. She can't win an election like that. The only reason Joe Biden picked her is because her popularity in California dropped very low after Tulsi Gabbard decapitated her. She was not in the position to run her re-election in the Senate. The Latino guy was going to win that. He was more popular than her. So Joe just thought it was smart in order to, to wrap up South Carolina, where she was taking a lot of votes from him. Let's come together in agreement. Let's win, and I'll make you VP. That way you don't have to ever worry about running for office again, ever. Even if you don't win the presidency, you're going to be set for life, Kamala. Set for life. He knew what he was doing. I'm telling you guys, if these people don't gather together and start whipping up these votes to get rid of Trump, he's going to run again. And yet they can whip up votes. And see, let me tell you something, whipping up votes and things like that has a lot to do with, look, this is what I'm going to do for your community. And you watch my back, I'll watch your back. I see you got a bill that need to be voted on. Look, you vote Trump out, I got your back on this bill. You guys got to get your butt up and start legislating, start whipping up votes. Because Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Pat Toomey is not enough. The vote is the clearest sign yet that Trump is headed toward a second acquittal and offers an early insight into which Republicans are lining up behind the argument that his second impeachment trial isn't constitutional. And it is constitutional. This dude incited an insurrection offhandedly. Senator John Thune, look, let me tell you something, he incited it. Had he not got on Twitter and encouraged people to come down to Washington, D.C. and he's sitting up there looking like he's the king of the world. Look at my people. Look at my supporters. I told you that I could shoot somebody in Times Square and I won't lose none of them. I know you won't because they're sycophants. Sycophants of you. Senator John Thune, South Dakota, number 2 GOP senator, said he thought the vote was indicative and where Republicans are, but it doesn't bind them into voting a particular way on a conviction. Senator Rob Portman of Ohio, who voted against tabling Paul's effort, said he didn't think the vote was about whether or not the trial was constitutional, but if there should be a discussion. The vote is effectively. And that's what Rand Paul doing, kissing butt, Mr. Libertarian himself. He's not like his dad. He live and breathe Constitution. Live and breathe Constitution. We can't do something that violate the Constitution. Bro, this ain't violating the Constitution. This dude got on Twitter for days and asked his supporters to come to Washington, D.C. No president has done that. None. I don't think nobody who ran for president ever done that. The vote effectively pigeonholed Paul. Portman added that he thought Tuesday votes in the eventual question of acquittal or conviction are a total different issue. Trump will be the first president to undergo a trial after leaving office, but the Senate previously held an impeachment trial for a cabinet official after they left office. So what you talking about, Paul? Paul, speaking ahead of the vote, warned that he wanted to force his colleague to go on record. If we're going to put every politician in jail, we're going to impeach every politician who has used the word fight figuratively in a speech. Shame, he said, accusing Democrats of being deranged about their hatred of Trump. Bruh, that ain't hatred. This man been churning this up. It's not what you say, it's how you say it and how you strategize your words. What in the world wrong with Paul? I want this body on record. Every last person here, Paul at it. The reason he wanted it on record because he want to primary these people. Several GOP senators said heading into a vote that they hadn't made a decision on how they would vote. They hadn't talked to Paul or until they saw Tuesday's Senate floor schedule, didn't know he would force the votes an AOC know nothing about. Until I read my notice from this leader this morning, I didn't know there was a chance it was going to happen, said Senator Roy Blunt. Though some GOP senators have said they are waiting to hear presentations during the trial, a growing number appeared to be latching onto the argument that the trial, which will start next month, is not constitutional. Legal professional Jonathan Turley attended a closed-door GOP lunch where the senators discussed the strategy. Senator Joni Ernst said in a statement Monday night that while Trump exhibit poor leadership and holds some responsibility for the attack on the Capitol in January 6th, that her concern right now is that the president is no longer in office. Congress will be opening itself up into a dangerous standard of using impeachment as a tool for political revenge against a private citizen, and the only remedy at this point is to strip the convicted of their ability to run for office, a move that will undoubtedly strip millions of voters of their ability to choose a candidate in the next election, she's added. I'm lost for words. I'm lost for words. Political revenge? Political revenge? This got nothing to do with political revenge. This man sought out a revenge politically. The whole point of this whole insurrection or invasion or whatever you want to call it is revenge because he lost. He's trying to use his base to seek revenge because he's a loser. He talked to winning. We're gonna win big. We're gonna win big so much you're gonna throw up win. You're gonna get sick of winning. He lost big time to one of the worst people to run against, Joe Biden. He lost to Joe Biden. Yeah, he feels stupid. Yeah, he feels humiliated. He should. He can't believe that I lost to Joe Biden. Well, you did. Because these people rather have Joe Biden, the other pathological lying bigot racist with rape allegation, than you. At least he got a friendship with Obama. And a lot of these people are going to gravitate toward him because Obama and did because Obama. And they know you hate Obama and that's their way of digging back at you. So not only do you got two digs going at you, I know it hurt. I know it hurt Trump. Obama's friend beat me. This guy right here. That's your boy. That was the president. 45. He's impeached. So Maxine Waters, you got it twice. You impeach 45. Now, where do you go from here, Maxine Waters? Where do you go from here? Well, what you got to do, Maxine, is y'all got to go out there and start whipping up votes. Now, Rand Paul is a sly snake. Every now and then he can be right on something, but most of the time he's still a sly freaking snake. A snake venom has purpose. It does. But he's still a snake. And he want to act like he care about the Constitution. Everything's about the Constitution. And it's not with him. Bruh, this dude incited a riot. Stop trying to use what his words and just look at his old actions up to that point that led to that. It's the actions that led to that. It's the tweets and all that led to that. And it was the rally and him trumping up his base because he's trying to stop an election. You actually think these people just going to shout outside and say, do the right thing, do the right thing. And they're going to do the right thing according to him. According to him, doing the right thing is not certifying the votes. No, they came to strike fear in those people. They came for a so-called revolution. And you got the Boogaloo Boys and everybody out there that was out there. And like I said, some of those people wasn't trying to storm the Capitol. But you're guilty by association. And a lot of them going to lose. A lot of them are losing their job. They're losing relationships, and their own family members are ratting them out, letting you know. My mama was at that event. She may not even went through the door, but she was at the event. You guys got to stop worshiping these politicians. I get mad at black people for worshiping Obama like he ain't never did nothing wrong. He did plenty of wrong. He did plenty right. He did plenty of wrong. Trump did a few things right, but majority are wrong. Y'all sitting up here worshiping these people. Worshiping. Man, y'all got shirts, man, pillows and all that kind of stuff. I can understand memorabilia. Like, I was on the Obama campaign in 2018. That was a memorable time. That was history. You collect those items, but you don't continue to keep getting stuff now. Some of these people knock you out if you say something about Obama, but yet some of these people knock you out if you say something about Trump. These people ain't God. Let somebody say something about Jesus. You won't knock them out. You won't even say nothing. You won't defend Jesus, none of that stuff. Nah. But let somebody say something about Trump. Let somebody say something about Obama. Boy, y'all already read it. Nah, not my Messiah. Get out of here with this stuff. Look, this guy need to be removed. You need to get the votes. You need to whip them up. You got to go old school and start being lazy. See, back in the day, they looked for dirt on you and everything. They would apply to. I'm not telling you to do that. They have so much stuff on you, you ain't got no choice but to vote yes. But go out there and do your will and deal. They need stuff for their community, and you can help them. They got bills they're trying to sponsor. If it's a good bill, go ahead and give them your word. Do whatever you need to do to get their support. But they're not just going to give it to you. And you got rats and snakes like Paul Ryan trying to make this thing unconstitutional when it's not. Y'all better get to work and get these people to join you and vote this guy out, because we don't need Trump 2024, because he will win. And even if you do convict him, even if you do get him out of office, you're going to have to deal with his two boys. Because Donald Trump Jr. definitely said he's ready to run. Let me tell you something, people. Y'all better get somebody strong. Because this fear-mongering ain't helping. That ain't going to keep working. Be scared of the bad guy, and this guy, he's bad, but not as bad as this guy. This guy's horrible. So vote for our guy. That stuff ain't going to work. People are waking up. Black people are waking up to the position that most people are. The Asians, they don't give a vote unless you demand to do something in exchange. Well, Joe Biden doing a lot of stuff for black people. Did you see all those executive orders? Man, none of them executive orders were for black people. Get out of here. And I'm going to go over that this weekend. None of them. The racial justice, you better dig deeper into what they call racial justice. But we're going to dig deeper Sunday. None of them specifically for black people. But, man, Asians, Latinos, LGBTQ, they all getting the good from Joe Biden. Black people ain't getting nothing. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about call your politician, get them on the phone, and say whatever you got to do. If you got to work out a deal with one of those Republicans, if you got promise to support a bill, as long as it's not over the top, do whatever you need to do to get them on record saying they're going to vote, because you don't want that guy running. And Lord knows, even if he don't run, we're going to be dealing with his kids, man. We're going to deal with Chelsea Clinton coming up in the future. We're going to deal with the Obamas coming up in the future. We're going to deal with some more Bushes coming up. We're going to be dealing with, we're going to be dealing with these legacies, man. We need something fresh and new. Orange Man Revenge. Orange Man Revenge. This guy got to go. He got to go.